Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal Part 239 to 240 based on novel. So let's start. This purple body was the Slaughter Realm's Realm Master. His face was pale, blood was coming out of the corner of his mouth, and his eyes were filled with shock. A ray of red light descended from the purple mist. It was too fast, but it didn't charge at the purpled-haired man. Unexpectedly, it went after Master Devil God. Master Devil God's expression changed greatly and he wanted to dodge. However, before Qing Shui's G realm, he had no qualification to dodge. The G realm directly pierced through his chest. The old man's eyes immediately became dim and his body collapsed. It could be said that he died the most clean death among the Nirvana cleanser cultivators. When he died, endless melancholy surrounded him. The red lightning didn't stop after it pierced through the old man's body, it swept through the area. There were only sounds of explosions as the bodies of most of the surrounding cultivators collapse. This was the power of Qing Shui's G realm. Wang Lin had already prepared to open his third eye and use Source Origin energy to face Master Devil God's approach. However, with Qing Shui's help, he was able to immediately charge after Master Empty Fantasy. The purple mist churned in the sky and quickly contracted into a fist-sized ball that floated into Qing Shui's hand. There was also a carved purple hairpin in his other hand. Qing Shui's gaze toward the hairpin contained a hint of gentleness. However, when he looked at the cultivators of the Slaughter Realm, that gentleness disappeared. Instead, his eyes were filled with indifference as he walked down. A place that I, Qing Shui, want to slaughter would never have any survivors. The purple-haired man's face was deathly pale, and without hesitation, his right hand formed a seal. He pointed at the void and then his entire arm collapsed into a pile of flesh. The flesh rotated rapidly and forced open a crack. He was going to enter the crack as quickly as possible. All of you deserve to die for using the item I left my deceased wife as a treasure. With that, Qing Shui pointed with his finger. With this point of his finger, a gloomy voice came from Qing Shui's mouth. Celestial spell, mountain crumble. After he spoke, the Slaughter Realm trembled and 6 large mountains appeared out of nowhere. Each of the mountains were 20,000 feet tall, and at the moment they appeared, they gave off a powerful pressure. The moment Qing Shui spoke, the 6 mountains flashed and fused into one. They became one mountain that was indistinguishable from a real mountain. The mountain began to tremble and black smoke came out from its highest point. As the black smoke filled the sky, a dark red flame burst out from the peak. The temperature of the flame could destroy all life. It sprayed out with large pieces of rock that mercilessly smashed down from the sky. The earth shook as if it was Armageddon. Layers of dust filled with poison covered the world. It made the entire world look like it had turned into ruins. Waves of magma came out from the peak of the mountain. The Slaughter Realm was immediately filled with endless heat and a destructive aura. This magma contained the power to destroy anything in the world. The cultivators in the Slaughter Realm whose cultivation was lacking were affected by the poisonous dust. They screamed as their bodies withered and disappeared into the void. Some of them struggled within the magma. However, the temperature of the magma was too high. Even when they used spells and treasures, it would be difficult for them to escape. The crack the purple-haired man had opened immediately collapsed thanks to this spell. He retreated with a pale face. He was at the early stage of Nirvana Shatterer and had used the broken pseudo-Nirvana Void treasure, yet he was no match for Qing Shui. At this moment, he only had one thought, and that was to quickly escape. Unfortunately, I'm the only Nirvana Shatterer cultivator in the Slaughter Realm and most of the Nirvana Cleanser cultivators are at Alliance headquarters. Otherwise, with enough help, I could use the 99 sword formation. However, I fear that not even the 99 sword formation could withstand this spell. As for Master Empty Fantasy, his face turned pale and he gave up on fighting Wang Lin. Seeing Wang Lin chasing him, he cursed and threw the 9 swords away. He knew that Wang Lin was interested in the 9 swords and wanted to use them to distract him. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he gave up on pursuing. His right hand reached out and immediately grabbed the 9 swords. The 9 swords began to struggle violently. Qing Shui's eyes revealed monstrous killing intent as he stretched out his hands and pushed up while shouting, "Mountain, first crumble." The moment Qing Shui spoke, the flames that spew out and the magma that flowed out began to tremble and shot into the sky. During this process, they suddenly collapsed and formed an unimaginable shockwave that spread across the slaughter realm. More than 10 cultivators were hit by the flames and magma. They weren't able to resist and got turned into ashes. Qing Shui shouted once more, "Second crumble." The entire slaughter realm trembled and the large peak suddenly crumbled. Endless magma and flames immediately gushed out. Third crumble. Qing Shui's hand formed a seal and pointed at the distant mountain. At this instant, this mountain truly collapsed, and countless pieces of gravel scattered and flames swept the sky. In the blink of an eye, there was no sky, only flame. As the mountain collapsed, endless magma flowed out like the sea and occupied all the land in an instant. The sky was filled with endless flames. The earth was covered in magma. In between was a dense poison mist. Miserable screams echoed. In a short period of time, everyone other than the purple-haired man and Master Empty Fantasy died. Even Master Empty Fantasy's origin energy dissipated and the aghast in his eyes became intense. The purple-haired man wryly smiled. He gave up on resisting and looked at Qing Shui with a complex gaze. He knew that Qing Shui didn't want to kill them yet. Otherwise, he would have died inside the purple mist. All the buildings in the slaughter realm melted and not a trace of them remained. Wang Lin stared dumbfoundedly at all of this. He could never have imagined that this mountain crumble contained such power. This is the celestial spell. Mountains crumble. Qing Shui waved his sleeves and 88 rays of silver light flew out from the magma on the ground. His hand reached out and the 88 rays of silver light were merged into one. He threw it at Wang Lin. "Since you like it, then I'll gift it to you." Wang Lin grabbed the silver ball and put it inside his bag. Qing Shui flickered as he turned into black wind and grabbed Master Empty Fantasy and the purple-haired cultivator. Then he mercilessly took a step and the slaughter realm began its final collapse. The slaughter realm was originally built in a spatial crack within the Rain Celestial realm. Now that the space had collapsed, the slaughter realm was devoured by the void. A large vortex immediately appeared under Qing Shui's feet. His body sank into the vortex. He nodded at Wang Lin and slowly said, "I still have other things to do. Shu Mu, after we separate today, it will be unknown when we will meet again. You take care of yourself." With that, he sank into the vortex and disappeared with Master Empty Fantasy and the purple-haired cultivator. Wang Lin silently pondered as he stepped into the vortex as well and left this collapsing slaughter realm. Wang Lin's figure appeared among the stars. He let out a sigh and looked back. After a long time, Wang Lin's body flickered and he merged with the world, moving toward planet Tianyun. In the distance, Qing Shui calmly moved forward. Behind him, Master Empty Fantasy and the purple-haired cultivator followed him with depressed looks. An mark unique to the celestial realm flashed between their eyebrows, the slave mark. Qing Shui's hand held an item. It was the purple hairpin. His eyes gradually grew gentle, but they were filled with pain and reminiscence. The Creator likes to mess with people. In Qing Shui's life, he had only shed tears twice. The first time was when the country of clear water was destroyed and his parents died. He was a small cultivator who had managed to escape an almost certain death situation. He was filled with grief and indignation as he shed tears. The second time was when he went crazy in the Thunder Celestial realm and killed his love. He shed tears of remorse. This hairpin had brought back his endless memories and emotions. He remembered that it was the day he became Bai Fan's disciple that he gifted this hairpin to her. He could never forget these happy memories. He felt a stab of pain in his heart, and teardrops fell from Qing Shui's eyes for the third time in his life. Han Yang. Memories flowed like the water in his palm that slowly trickled down his fingers. The cold feeling was something no one could forget. The things he thought of inadvertently were sad enough to drown himself. Scenes of the past appeared before Qing Shui's eyes. His dead wife's dimming gaze, and even until the end, she always held this hairpin. The tip of the hairpin remained pierced deep within her heart. Fresh blood was dripping down from the hairpin and scattering all over the ground. Qing Shui, I didn't die because of you, I died because of myself. You shouldn't feel bad, you shouldn't be sad all your life. You didn't harm me. In order to not make Qing Shui feel indignation and guilt when he became sober, this woman, at the moment of Qing Shui's madness, smiled and killed herself before him. Her gentle and sentimental gaze was filled with unwillingness. Her smile that contained her silent tears contained the power to awaken Qing Shui. The Qing Shui back then awakened due to such a scene. The husband in my mind is a man with an indomitable spirit. He will not abandon his life due to one moment in his life or waste his life away. Instead, he will use all his power to persist and find out the reason for all of this. Qing Shui's eyes were filled with sadness as he muttered, "Rest assured, Han Yang, I'll find the cause to all of this." Wang Lin's figure moved through space like an illusion. He didn't head directly to planet Tianyun but looked for Lei Ji, the big-headed boy, and Tarshan using the connection he had with them. During the chaotic battle, Wang Lin had no time to worry about them. Afterward, he had gone into the void and disappeared. After he left the void, it wasn't until now that he had the time to look for them. Wang Lin had even lost track of Tarshan during the battle. However, due to the connection of the seal on Tarshan, it wasn't hard to find his trace. Wang Lin remembered that in the battle, the three of them weren't affected. At this moment, he closed his eyes and his divine sense spread out. After a long time, he felt a familiar fluctuation to the east. Wang Lin's expression was calm as he opened his eyes and stepped forward. Ripples appeared under his feet and he disappeared. The Mountain Crumble celestial spell was very powerful. Although I expected Celestial Emperor by Fan's latter 3 spells to be stronger than the first 3, this Mountain Crumble was beyond my imagination. Mountain Crumble, what kind of comprehension did Celestial Emperor by Fan have to create such a powerful spell? I don't even know when I will be able to create my own spell. There was a rock floating slowly far east of Wang Lin. This rock obviously came from a collapsed cultivation planet. As it floated, small pieces of it fell off. There was a faint fluctuation of spells around it that dissipated like smoke. This rock looked very ordinary. There were simply too many rocks like this among the stars, so no one would pay attention to it. Tarshan had hidden himself inside the rock. After he lost contact with Wang Lin, his mind was blank. However, Celestial Emperor Qing Lin's spell melted the origin soul into the body and it retained some intelligence. It was very different from the puppets that couldn't think. After Tarshan found that Wang Lin was no longer there, he subconsciously found his rock. He entered it and quietly cultivated within. On this day, Tarshan suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes were completely calm, without any change. His body moved to the outside of the rock and stood on top of it. A large amount of ripples appeared before him and Wang Lin stepped out. Tarshan's expression didn't change when he saw Wang Lin, he only revealed a respectful expression. Wang Lin smiled as he waved at Tarshan. Tarshan took a step as he turned into a shadow and disappeared behind Wang Lin. Next is Big Head and Lei Ji. Wang Lin closed his eyes as he felt for the imprint on Big Head. After a long time, he frowned. Big Head's imprint is very weak, as if it could dissipate at any time. He took a step and then ripples appeared and he disappeared. There was a large figure moving through the stars, leaving behind a trail of blood. His body was covered in wounds, and every step he took he would leave behind a large amount of blood. Almost every step caused blood to come out of this giant's body. What was even more scary was that there were deep pits between the 1st through 7th bones on his spine. Each hole gave off an eerie, green glow. In addition, there were similar green pits all over the different joints on his body, at least dozens. There was pale cultivator on his shoulder. This cultivator's appearance was strange, he had a very big head. However, this cultivator was extremely weak. There was a black handprint that gave off a stench on the big-headed cultivator's back. There was also black smoke coming from his back that gave off a sizzling sound. In addition, the back of the big-headed boy had sunken in and was decaying at a rapid pace. If it wasn't for the fact that he was resisting with his own power, he would have already gone unconscious due to the pain. Lei Ji, leave me behind and leave on your own. Black blood came out from the corner of the big-headed boy's mouth and his eyes had lost all their luster. The big figure started moving even faster after pondering for a while. After a long time, he said, "Big head, you were injured to save me. I, Lei Ji, am a member of the giant demon clan. How can I just leave you? Even if I leave you, they will not give up their pursuit. Their goal is me. Don't say any more and focus on healing." The big-headed cultivator bitterly smiled as he looked at the stars before him, and his eyes became even more bleak. He seemed to see his mother from many years ago. His mother didn't seem to be scolding him. She looked at him with a gentle gaze and called to him. "Mother," the big-headed boy muttered, then death aura surrounded his body. In a trance, he seemed to see his family and all the people killed by him. These people appeared before him one by one and coldly looked at him. The big-headed boy's body trembled and he felt very cold. His coldness wasn't just in his body, but also the loneliness of his heart. The memories of his childhood continued to resurface. Am I going to leave? After thousands of years of cultivations, in the end, I'm still going to leave. The stench from the black handprint on the big-headed boy's back became even stronger and almost his entire back turned black. His eyes slowly closed as if he was shrouded by coldness, and he was gradually losing consciousness. "Big head, hold on. I believe that Master will come and find us." Just as the big-headed boy was about to close his eyes, Lei Ji's roar entered his ears. The big-headed boy's body trembled and he was just barely able to open his eyes. He wryly smiled and whispered, "Is that so?" There were two 10,000-foot-tall figures chasing Lei Ji. They were like two giants taking large strides while pursuing them. They each had the mark of an axe flashing between their eyebrows. Their gazes were cold and contained killing intent. There was a young man wearing a blue shirt sitting on top of one of the giants. He was extremely handsome, but there was a hint of evil on his face. He wasn't sitting in the lotus position, he was leaning back with a bunch of red cherries in his hand. Sometimes he would eat one as he watched Lei Ji with a teasing yet must-obtain gaze. There has been no flesh in this alliance that has been able to escape from this young master. I didn't expect to encounter the body of a royal giant demon clan member when I just came out to play. Not bad, not bad. That old thing in the family said that the alliance is in chaos due to the war, so I shouldn't casually come out. If I hadn't come out, how could I have met this kind of body? The young man ate a cherry with a smile and immediately spat out the seed. The seed shot out in a ray of light toward Lei Ji. The seed was so fast that it caught up to Lei Ji in an instant. It exploded into a green skull that attacked the 8th section on Lei Ji's spine. However, just as this green skull was about to press down, a hand came out from the void and grabbed the skull. It mercilessly squeezed and crushed the skull. A ripple appeared behind Lei Ji and a cold voice came out. "You sure have guts to dare to hurt my mount and my servant." "Master." Lei Ji trembled and suddenly turned around. "Master." The big-headed boy suddenly opened his eyes and revealed unimaginable joy. As the ripples spread, Wang Lin walked out calmly. He didn't even look at the young man in blue, he only looked at Lei Ji's injuries and the big-headed boy, who was at the border of life and death. After he saw the black handprint on the big-headed boy's back, coldness flashed through Wang Lin's eyes. His right hand reached out and he grabbed the big-headed boy. Then his right palm hit the big-headed boy and large amounts of his origin energy entered the big-headed boy's body. The big-headed boy's face turned red and he coughed out a mouthful of black blood. This blood gave off a powerful stench. At this moment, the blue-robed young man was still eating the cherries and his body was leaning back. After eating a cherry, he pointed at Wang Lin and said, "Sun Guzi, you have possessed this giant demon clan body long enough to use your cultivation now. Go kill this person that insulted me." The giant demon clan member beside the youth revealed a respectful expression and said, "As you command." As he spoke, he suddenly turned around and stared at Wang Lin with killing intent. He took a step forward, formed a fist, and closed in with a grin. When he closed in, the big fellow named Sun Guzi's right hand formed a seal and a large ocean appeared under his feet. A big wave formed in the ocean, and it looked like the big fellow arrived riding the wave. "Junior, accept death." As his right hand pressed forward, the ocean seemed to boil and gathered at this right hand. It turned into a sea dragon and charged at Wang Lin with a roar. The moment the sea dragon charged, there was even the smell of the ocean. Wang Lin kept his right hand on the big-headed boy's back and didn't even look at the sea dragon or the big fellow behind it. This big fellow was only at the early stage of Nirvana Scrya. Ignoring Wang Lin's current 5-star royal ancient god body, it wouldn't even be difficult for him to kill this big fellow with his origin energy cultivation. Although the giant demon clan members' bodies were strong, they were far too weak compared to the ancient gods' bodies. Wang Lin waved his left hand and a powerful force surged out. This power was invisible, but the moment Wang Lin waved his hand, crackling sounds came from the space between him and the big fellow. It was as if the space between them was going to shatter. This scene caused the eyes of the youth who was about to bite a cherry to narrow, and he couldn't help but pause for a moment. As for the big fellow, just as the sea dragon formed by his spell shot out, it was met with an unimaginable force. The sea dragon trembled and let out a miserable hiss. It was stopped dead in its tracks and was pushed back by this endless force. The scales on its body immediately flaked off and dissipated into water. As the sea dragon was constantly pushed back, it completely dissipated. As for the big fellow, his pupils shrank. He wanted to dodge, but it was too late. When the sea dragon was pushed back, his chest sunk in and he coughed out a large mouthful of blood. Then he quickly retreated. Explosions echoed inside him. Every explosion caused a large amount of blood mist to spray out from his body. It only took several breaths of time for him to become a bloody mess. Horror filled his eyes, and when he saw Wang Lin's left hand reach toward him, he was about to lose his wits. "Young master, save me." The youth in blue's expression became gloomy, then he suddenly stood up and grabbed the stem of a cherry. He squeezed his hands and all the cherries exploded. The countless seeds covered in red liquid shot at Wang Lin. As they flew, the cherry seeds turned into green skulls. Surrounded by the red liquid, the skulls gave off bursts of sharp screams. However, this youth in blue was a step too late. It was as if the giant demon clan man had lost control of his body. Fear filled his eyes and he was pulled toward Wang Lin. He was pulled extremely fast and was next to Wang Lin in an instant. Wang Lin's left hand lightly hit the big fellow. His eyes dimmed and he felt an unimaginable force shaking his body. It actually shook his origin soul out of the body. The moment the origin soul flew out, Wang Lin grabbed it. Wang Lin's hand was like a claw, and no matter how the origin soul struggled, it wasn't able to escape. Wang Lin lifted his foot and kicked the giant demon clan body. The body immediately flew and collided with the green skulls covered in the red liquid. There was a heaven-shaking explosion and the big fellow's body exploded into countless pieces. However, due to the strange suction from the green skulls, instead of the body pieces scattering, they were completely absorbed by the green skulls. All of this sounds slow, but it happened in a flash. From start to end, Wang Lin still had his right hand on the big-headed boy's back. Large amounts of black mist came out from the big-headed body's head. The death aura on the big-headed boy gradually disappeared and was replaced with vitality. "What are you, sir?" The youth in blue's mind was shaken when he saw all of this. He knew that no ordinary cultivator could kill an early-stage Nirvana Scrya cultivator so easily, especially one that had possessed the body of a giant demon clan member. However, no matter how he looked at the person before him, this person was only an early-stage Nirvana Scrya cultivator. Wang Lin didn't answer the youth in blue's question. He raised his right hand and pressed down on the big-headed boy's back once more. When he pressed his hand down this time, traces of distorted mist came out. After his hand landed on the big-headed boy's back, the black handprint unexpectedly moved. Then 5 black soul fragments formed a palm and attempted to devour Wang Lin's hand. Wang Lin's expression was neutral. Bursts of miserable screams that could only be heard with divine sense echoed as the 5 soul fragments died. Endless black gas came out from the back of the big-headed boy. The big-headed boy felt as if his blood flow had reversed and his body trembled violently until he coughed out a large piece of black blood. This black blood immediately melted like a piece of ice and dissipated. All of this only took several breaths of time. Wang Lin withdrew his right hand. Then he coldly looked at the youth in blue and took a step forward. The youth in blue's expression changed greatly. Without his order, the giant demon clan member quickly retreated. Fear filled the eyes of the big fellow. Even though he knew he was a bit stronger than his companions, he was no match for someone who could easily kill his companion, so he had zero will to fight. As he retreated, the youth in blue's expression became gloomy and he shouted, "I'm the corpse sect's inner disciple. This is all a misunderstanding. I hope Sir won't pursue this matter." As he spoke, his right hand formed a seal and a green gas came out from his body. It quickly entered his right hand, and in the blink of an eye, the youth's right hand was covered in a green light. Corpse sect. Wang Lin's expression changed. The youth in blue revealed a vicious gaze. Taking advantage of Wang Lin's moment of pause, he waved his hand without hesitation. He then shouted, "5 Ghostian God Wheel." 5 rays of green light came from the youth's hand and became 5 ghosts. They let out mournful cries and then turned into green handprints that shot at Wang Lin. The 5 ghosts revealed ferocious expressions, and an extremely powerful aura spread out and instantly closed in on Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression was neutral as he casually waved his hand. A powerful gust of wind flew at the handprint. The handprint exploded and the 5 ghosts let out miserable screams. Wang Lin took a step forward, his right hand formed a fist, and he mercilessly threw a punch. A rumble echoed and a storm swept by. The youth in blue's face was pale, but he didn't panic. He carefully looked at Wang Lin and then pressed his hands down on the body of the giant demon clan member below him. This giant's body trembled and he revealed a bitter expression. Then his hands formed a seal and he pointed up as his voice echoed. Giant demon clan's bloodline ability. After he spoke, the giant's body trembled and a crack appeared between his eyebrows. A ghostly light also appeared, but it didn't attack Wang Lin. Instead, it wrapped around the youth in blue. Then a vortex appeared behind the youth. The vortex appeared without any warning and there were no suction force coming from it. However, the youth in blue immediately stepped into the vortex. Giant demon clan's bloodline ability. Wang Lin let out a cold snort and then swung his right fist. A storm even more powerful rumbled and then charged at the youth in the vortex. Just at this moment, the giant demon clan member clenched his teeth and the origin energy in his body reversed. This caused his origin soul to become unstable and made the origin soul and body unbalanced. As the origin energy rushed into his origin soul, he withstood the pain and then his origin soul exploded. The explosion of the origin soul formed a destructive force and immediately affected his entire body. Then his body exploded too. This explosive force rushed out, but it didn't scatter. Instead, all of it went straight toward Wang Lin. This destructive force swept by like a powerful storm in an attempt to stop Wang Lin. Behind the destructive force was the fading vortex and the sneer of the youth in blue. "I don't care who you are, I'll find your name. You will die for provoking the corpse sect." The young man in blue spoke gloomily as his figure gradually disappeared. Wang Lin's expression was calm. The moment the force of the man exploding swept toward him, he slapped his bag of holding and the 3rd god-slaying war chariot he hadn't used for a long time flew out. It turned into a very beautiful butterfly with a bang. The 5-colored butterfly was very beautiful, and as it flapped its wings, they released 5-colored powder. There was also a blood sparrow next to it. This blood sparrow belonged to Blood God. But it was captured by the 5-colored butterfly. The 5-colored butterfly flew out and its left wing gently flapped. The storm sweeping toward it suddenly trembled. The 5-colored butterfly's left wing flapped again. The power of law appeared and the destructive shockwave was pushed back. It was as if a pair of large, invisible hands had forced it back. The 3rd time the 5-colored butterfly's left wing flapped, 3 more butterflies appeared, and they also flapped their wings. The destruction force sped up and it rushed toward the rapidly shrinking vortex. Just as the vortex was about to disappear, the destructive force and that sliver of law from the 5-colored butterfly penetrated the vortex. A miserable scream echoed from inside the vortex and then the vortex disappeared. In the Alliance star system, there was a sea of souls that no outsider knew about. There were large amounts of land floating within this sea of souls. On one of the islands, there were many buildings. A vortex suddenly appeared next to one of the tall, black buildings. The moment the vortex appeared, there were sounds of explosions and a large amount of blood sprayed out. The origin soul of the young man in blue flew out from the vortex. It looked as if he was about to collapse at any moment. Just at this instant, the door of the building suddenly opened, revealing an old man with a very gloomy expression. He was simply too fast and directly grabbed the origin soul. "Grandpa, save me." The blue-robed young man, who could barely open his eyes, uttered these words before going into a coma. His origin soul gradually dissipated. Although it didn't collapse, it was extremely weak. Wang Lin frowned. He could feel that the moment the power from the five-colored butterfly entered the vortex and attacked the youth, there was a flash of black light that dissolved a majority of the force. Although this black light collapsed, the youth in blue was only seriously injured, not dead. Life-saving treasure. As Wang Lin pondered, he walked toward Lei Ji. Looking at the green light coming from his joints, he pressed down his right hand at each spot. Every time his fingers landed, the green light would turn into a soul fragment and disappear. A moment later, there was no more green light on Lei Ji's body. Lei Ji let out a sigh of relief and looked at Wang Lin with respect. Lei Ji's giant body turned into a mountain and flew through the stars. Wang Lin sat on his back, and beside Wang Lin was the big-headed boy, who was healing. They were getting closer and closer to planet Tianyun. 10 days later, Wang Lin looked at the familiar space before him. He knew that not far away was the area that belonged to the rank 7 cultivation country of Tianyun. During these 10 days, he was thinking about what he should do during this trip to planet Tianyun. However, even more so, he was pondering over the hand seals esteemed Xian Bao had used with the 4-colored butterflies. Back then, he carefully memorized the hand seals, but no matter how many times he tried them during these 10 days, he felt nothing. At this moment, Wang Lin stood up and looked ahead. He slowly said, "Big Head, you and Lei Ji go find an abandoned planet. Hide yourselves and wait for me. If I'm fine, I'll let you two come. If you hear no news from me, then the two of you quickly leave this place." With that, Wang Lin's body flickered and he left Lei Ji's back. He moved forward with his white robe and his flowing, black hair, which made him look very much like a celestial. As he walked, Wang Lin once more stepped into planet Tianyun's sphere of influence. This trip is a blessing and disaster. However, there are some things that must be done. Besides, this crisis might not be as difficult to resolve as I thought. In truth, all of it had to do with the celestial cave token. Wang Lin slowly moved forward as he pondered. All of them want that celestial cave token. The token, the matter with Blood God, the All-Seer's scheme, and various other things forced me to leave. Back then, my cultivation was too weak and I had no power to resist. I stood no chance against the All-Seer. Even though I still can't stand up to the All-Seer, it will not be so easy for him to kill me. Wang Lin touched the spot between his eyebrows. His real ace was not his magical treasure or spells, but the third eye between his eyebrows. After viewing the second battle scroll, I gained another sliver of source origin energy. This is my real life-saving spell. After all, the All-Seer and I haven't publicly turned against each other. I'm still a disciple of the All-Seer. In addition, what's more important is that Huang Long said I'm a person of planet Suzaku. A disciple of the Vermilion Bird branch of the Four Divine Sect. This is something worth pondering. Wang Lin revealed a sneer and pressed down between his eyebrows. The third eye immediately appeared between his eyebrows and then was replaced by the ancient god stars. Soon, a bead appeared, then all of it disappeared, leaving only a red mark that gave off trace of heat. If it wasn't for the fact that Master Flamespark gave me enough origin energy to reach the mid-stage of Nirvana Scryer once my domain reached a certain level, and the fact that I obtained the inheritance from Lu Chen to become a 5-star royal ancient god, I wouldn't have even noticed this extra mark on. This mark contains the power of the world. When my divine sense gathers on it, I hear the faint cry of the vermilion bird. I didn't have this when I went back to planet Suzaku, so based on this, it must be related to sect head Huang Long. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. The vermilion bird mark on his forehead flickered and he charged forward. Planet Tianyun appeared in the distance in Wang Lin's eyes. Looking at the familiar planet, he couldn't help but sigh. He could never forgot how he came directly here after leaving planet Suzaku and was accepted as a disciple of the Purple Division. In a flash, hundreds of years have passed. Wang Lin shook his head and walked forward. When I first came here, I was only a soul transformation cultivator. The second time I'm here, I can battle Nirvana cleanser cultivators. Wang Lin moved forward but was surprised. He immediately stopped and stared at planet Tian Yun ahead. He saw flashes of golden light above planet Tian Tun. They were rays of sword energy that were stacked together. After taking a closer look, they were all gathered above the heavenly fate sect on planet Tian Yun. Ling Tianhu. Wang Lin's expression changed when he felt Ling Tianhu's aura among those flying swords. After pondering for a bit, Wang Lin didn't stop and flew forward. Outside the heavenly fate sect, countless rays of sword energy filled the sky as if there was a sword storm. There was a cultivator on every single sword, and they were all disciples of the Da Lu sword sect. Before him was a fierce red Chileen. This Chileen was extremely fierce and its eyes were like lightning. Endless flames came from its body and 2 streams of hot air came out of its nostrils. On its back sat a skinny old man with a gloomy expression. This old man had 4 illusionary swords behind him. They gave off a powerful aura as they flickered. He was Ling Tianhu. Aside from this old man, there were 4 more cultivators that seemed to be very powerful. Of the 4 of them, 3 were men and 1 was a woman. The 3 men were all old men with white hair, and their eyes were like the sun and moon. One of them was wearing a black and white robe with a yin and yang pattern. His expression revealed nothing as he calmly sat on a giant gourd. Behind him were 9 people. These 9 people were clearly his disciples, as they floated respectfully behind him. The other old man was very large, as if he was a meat mountain. He sat on a purple bamboo chair being carried by 4 big, shining fellows. The third old man was wearing a yellow robe and was as skinny as a corpse, but his body gave off a powerful sense of vitality. He had no followers and he stood alone in the sky with an indifferent expression. The final person was a woman. She was younger, middle-aged. This middle-aged woman didn't dress up. Her clothes were very ordinary, as if she was just a woman from a village among mortals. However, she gave off an earthly aura from her body. Behind her were 4 women. They were all very beautiful and their beauty could be considered unsurpassed. This was especially true of the woman in the left, who was wearing a pink dress and was stunning. They attracted the gazes of a majority of the Da Lu sword sect cultivators, but the 4 women paid them no attention and calmly looked ahead. Ling Tianhu said, "All-seer, back then your disciple Wang Lin took the token, and afterward you said that a mystery of the heavens will be revealed today. This old man wants to see what your so-called mystery of the heavens is." Back then, these old monsters all sent greed to find Wang Lin. However, no more news of this matter came back, and a majority of the seals they left on greed had disappeared. The matter at the demon spirit land was very crucial, so the old monsters had come looking for the All-Seer because they were anxious. After all, Wang Lin was someone from the heavenly fate sect. Back then, the All-Seer had a calm expression and only said one sentence: "When green and purple light fills the sky, you all can come to my heavenly fate sect and see the mystery of the heavens." Early this morning, the originally clear sky above planet Tian Yun was suddenly shrouded by green and purple. The colors were gorgeous and seemed to color the entire planet. Then Ling Tianhu immediately came here with his disciples. At the same time, several old monsters who knew of this matter rushed over to the heavenly fate sect. After all, the All-Seer's divination ability was famous in the Alliance. The All-Seer, who was wearing white, calmly stood in the sky. Beside him were the heavenly fate disciples that all looked into the sky with cold gazes. However, what they looked at even more were the 4 beautiful women. "He is here." The All-Seer's expression was calm and he calmly smiled. His gaze fell on the horizon. After the All-Seer finished speaking, Ling Tianhu, the 3 powerful old monsters, and the beautiful woman immediately noticed something. At this instant, all the cultivators' gazes gathered on the horizon. The 4 women behind the middle-aged woman didn't even blink and stared intently. I don't know what Wang Lin, the one that shook the demon spirit land and caught the attention of all the great cultivators of all heaven, looks like. The eyes of woman in the pink dress were filled with curiosity. Part 240. Not only her, but the other three beautiful women also looked into the sky with their pretty eyes. Wang Lin's fame had almost become a taboo over the years. However, the more it was a taboo, the more rumors about Wang Lin spread. Above the heavenly fate sect square, Bai Wei looked up at the sky with a complex feeling. He found it difficult to imagine what that person from back then had become. There was a gloomy middle-aged man beside Bai Wei. He wore a purple robe and his gaze was like lightning. He looked at the sky and let out a cold snort in his heart. Wang Lin. Even though you didn't die during these years, you couldn't have ascended too much. I just don't know how much weaker you are compared to me, Zhao Xingsha. Bai Wei cautiously looked at the middle-aged man and felt dread toward this senior brother. Zhao Xingsha's cultivation had advanced a lot during his closed-door cultivation. He had broken through Ascendant and was only one step away from illusory Yin. Zhao Xingsha became one of the 7 true disciples of the All-Seer 30 years ago. He had a feud with Wang Lin, so when they meet, it will be difficult for him to not have killing intent. There was also a woman beside the two of them. Her expression was down. Although she was looking at the sky, it was as if she had no interest in anything. This woman was the 4th disciple of the Purple Division, Wang Lin's 4th senior apprentice sister. Back then, she was forced by Zhong Xingsha to trap Wang Lin with a spell. Later, Wang Lin escaped and she taught Wang Lin greater teleportation to resolve their enmity. In the distance, there was a youth who looked about 30 years old. He wore a blue shirt with 3 blue dragons embroidered on it. These 3 dragons were extremely fierce and lifelike, especially their eyes, which gave off fierce gazes and were breathtaking to look at. If Wang Lin saw this person, he wouldn't find him unfamiliar. He was the person that worked with Wang Lin's 4th senior apprentice sister to trap him. The Blue Division's Sima Rufeng. Inside the Heavenly Fate sect, everyone who knew Wang Lin all had their own thoughts. However, no one believed he would be able to leave alive if he were to appear here today. As everyone's gazes gathered on the horizon, a white figure appeared in the horizon and slowly walked over. His black hair flowed in the wind, and under the flashes of sunlight, there was a hint of purple in it. His white robe gave him the air of a celestial, and it looked like white snow was arriving. A feeling of 1,000 years of lonely twilight appeared from his figure. He just slowly approached like this, and behind him was the fiery red sun. This made his face dark, only his bright eyes that revealed 1,000 years of wisdom could be seen. This scene was very beautiful. At first the figure was very far away, but in just an instant, it was outside the Heavenly Fate sect. Wang Lin. Wang Lin. In an instant, several people recognized Wang Lin. So he is Wang Lin. The woman in pink's beautiful eyes landed on the figure in white. Ling Tinghu's eyes were like lightning and contained a powerful sword energy. The moment he saw Wang Lin, he frowned. Although his expression was still gloomy, there was a trace of shock in his eyes. Early stage Nirvana Scryer. This Wang Lin was only at the soul transformation stage, and in just a few hundred years, he has unexpectedly reached such height. Unless he encountered great fortunes, it would be impossible for this to happen. There is also that mark between his eyebrows. The shock set off a huge wave in Ling Tianho's heart. The old man that was like a meat mountain suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes shined brightly as he stared at Wang Lin with disbelief. The expression of the old man as skinny as a corpse also changed, and he gave Wang Lin a profound look. He then looked at the All-Seer and revealed an expression that made it seem like he had realized something. As for the old man wearing the black and white robe sitting on the gourd, he unexpectedly revealed a smile. However, there was a flash of a ghostly light in his eyes, so it was impossible to see what he was thinking. The vermilion bird mark. The middle-aged woman was surprised and carefully looked at Wang Lin. If these old monsters were like this, then there's no need to mention the surrounding cultivators. Not many of them could see through Wang Lin's cultivation, but they could all feel a pressure coming from Wang Lin's body. The woman in pink looked at Wang Lin with her beautiful eyes and revealed a hint of interest. All of this sounds slow, but it all happened the moment Wang Lin appeared, and the expressions of everyone landed in his eyes. He patted his clothes as he calmly looked at the All-Seer, then he clasped his hands and respectfully said, "Disciple Wang Lin greets Master." The All-Seer's eyes revealed a strange light as he stared at the mark between Wang Lin's eyebrows. After a long time, he revealed a smile and kindly said, "It's good that you returned. Wang Lin, these seniors want to ask you something, and you must answer truthfully." A middle-aged man behind Wang Lin pointed at him and shouted, "Little brat Wang Lin, you actually dared to come back. Back then, you killed members of my Da Lu sword sect in the demon spirit land. Today is when you pay in blood." Wang Lin revealed a smile, but his eyes were as cold as ice. He coldly looked at the middle-aged man and calmly said, "Senior Ling Tianhu, does this disciple of yours have the qualifications to speak to me like this?" Ling Tianhu's expression was extremely gloomy as he stared at the mark between Wang Lin's eyebrows. Although he feared the vermilion birthmark somewhat, what really shocked him were the other two powers between Wang Lin's eyebrows. What kind of fortune did this Wang Lin encounter in these hundreds of years? It's as if he was reborn. While he pondered, Ling Tianhu waved his sleeves, causing the middle-aged man who was shouting at Wang Lin to tremble and get pushed back into the group of cultivators. Ling Tianhu's voice was chilly as he slowly said, "He indeed doesn't have the qualifications to speak to you like this. To be able to reach the early stage of Nirvana Scrya at your age, if we let go of our enmity, even this old man admires you." His words set off a huge wave. It was no different from throwing water into boiling oil. This caused the expressions of all the surrounding cultivators to change. Bai Wei gasped and stared at Wang Lin. His mind was blank. He couldn't believe how Wang Lin, who was only at the soul transformation stage hundreds of years ago, had become a Nirvana Scrya cultivator who he could only view as a legend. Nirvana Scrya. As for Zhao Xingxia, his body trembled as he couldn't believe what he had heard. He was startled on the spot. It wasn't just the two of them, almost all the other cultivators were the same. After all, this was just too unbelievable. This Wang Lin has actually reached the Nirvana Scrya stage. Although there is still a gap between him and us, he is still someone who has achieved a lot and can no longer be looked at as a junior. The old man on the gourd smiled and said, "Wang Lin, I want to ask, why did you escape through the vortex before us back then? Did you do something you didn't want us to know about?" Wang Lin's expression was neutral as he calmly said, "Junior did indeed cause a calamity in the demon spirit land, so I had to leave." The eyes of the skinny old man shined and he coldly asked, "What calamity?" Wang Lin calmly said, "In self-defense Junior had to trap Blood Ancestor's daughter. When fellow seniors came with Blood Ancestor, Junior naturally had to escape." After he spoke, the old man who had the body of a mountain of flesh sat up and said, "Is the celestial cave token in your hands?" I wonder who Senior heard this from. Wang Lin looked at the old man that was like a mountain of flesh. This person was only at the early stage of Nirvana Scrya, and moreover, Wang Lin didn't remember this person among the people that pursued him. The old man's mind trembled from Wang Lin's gaze. His expression changed and there was a flash of disbelief in his eyes. The All-Seer's expression was still gentle as he slowly said, "Enough, Wang Lin. Teacher is asking you if the celestial cave token in your hands." Wang Lin looked at the All-Seer and respectfully said, "Since teacher asked, disciple doesn't dare to conceal it." Back in the demon spirit land, disciple indeed obtained a celestial cave token. After Wang Lin spoke, the old monster's eyes lit up and they began to silently ponder. Then an oppressive aura spread out and gathered on Wang Lin. The old man sitting on the gourd looked at the mark between Wang Lin's eyebrows and said, "Wang Lin, take out the token and you can keep your life." The old man with the mountain of flesh body revealed a hostile gaze and gloomily said, "You aren't qualified to have that celestial cave token." Without waiting for Wang Lin to speak, killing intent flashed across Ling Tianhu's eyes. He slowly said, "Since we know the token is in his hands, why waste time?" He let out a cold snort and pointed with his right finger. A heaven-shaking ray of sword energy shot toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression was calm. When the sword energy arrived, he retreated a few steps and threw a punch. This punch caused a sonic boom, and the rumbling was earth-shaking. A black vortex appeared from Wang Lin's fist and collided with Ling Tianhu's sword energy. Just at this instant, the All-Seer's eyes lit up and he waved his right sleeve. A seven-colored wind flew forth and landed between Ling Tianhu and Wang Lin. This seven-colored wind contained a mysterious power. When it blew by, it caused the black vortex from Wang Lin's fist to dissipate. While it dissolved Wang Lin's power, it also blocked Ling Tianho's sword energy. This gently dissolved everything. Ling Tianhu, to attack my Heavenly Fate Sect disciple at my Heavenly Fate Sect, do you really think I'm not here? The All-Seer's voice was gentle as he looked at Ling Tianhu. The 4 origin swords behind Ling Tianhu flew out as he stared at the All-Seer and shouted, "All-Seer, could it be that you want to take the token for yourself?" The All-Seer's expression sank and he calmly said, "As long as he hasn't betrayed his sect, then he is still my disciple." "Your Heavenly Fate Sect wants to protect your disciple? Could it be that my Da Lu Sword Sect disciples died for nothing?" Chen Long was the only surviving one among the 12 swords, the rest were all killed by Wang Lin. This old man will not bully the weak. As long as Wang Lin can resist 3 rays of sword energy, then this matter will be forgotten. "If you dare to stop me, All-Seer, I'll risk everything and go to war with you." Ling Tianho's face was filled with killing intent. Although he was speaking to the All-Seer, his gaze was locked on to Wang Lin. This senior said that I don't have the qualifications to hold the token. Dare I ask senior how long you can last against Sword Saint Ling Tianho's sword energy? Wang Lin looked at the old man that was like a mountain of flesh. The old man with the mountain of flesh body was extremely gloomy. He let out a cold snort and remained silent, but there was a flash of killing intent in his eyes. Wang Lin faintly smiled as his gaze fell on Ling Tianhu, and he calmly said, "Please enlighten me, Sword Saint." Ling Tianhu waved his right hand and one of the 4 origin swords behind his back flew out. This sword was flickering between light and darkness. At this moment, a ray of sword energy flew out. The sword energy was like a rainbow. With Ling Tianho's cultivation, the sword energies he left his disciples when they went into the demon spirit land were all very powerful, so there was no need to mention how powerful this one that came from the source was. The sword energy took the form of a dragon and whistled toward Wang Lin. Crackling sounds came from the sky as if it couldn't withstand the might of the sword energy. The surrounding Da Lu Sword Sect disciples all became excited as they watched. When the sword energy closed in and was about to tear his body apart, Wang Lin's eyes lit up. His right hand formed a fist and he threw a punch. There was a loud explosion as the space before Wang Lin's fist showed signs of collapse. Just as the sword energy closed in, Wang Lin's fist collided with it. There were several heaven-shaking rumbles. Wang Lin retreated 2 steps as he calmly looked at Ling Tianhu and slowly said, "First ray." Ling Tianho's sword energy collapsed and spread like a storm. The All-Seer waved his big sleeves and all that power disappeared. He looked at Wang Lin and revealed a smile. Coldness flashed in Ling Tianho's eyes and he waved his right hand without hesitation. The origin sword that flew out let out a sharp sword hymn that penetrated the heavens. Then it directly flew out at Wang Lin with its original body. When it closed in, Wang Lin laughed and his right hand formed a fist. A surge of power traveled from between his eyebrows and gathered in his hand. Specks of light appeared around Wang Lin's fist, and he shot forward along with the punch. At the same time, there was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes. Since he had returned to planet Tianyun, he didn't intend to be low-key. After all, the only way to speak was with strength. If he wanted to go back to the demon spirit land to obtain the qualifications to hold the token and to obtain the recognition of all the old monsters on planet Tianyun, then all of it would depend on this battle. With Wang Lin's cunning, he had already analyzed all of this. At this moment, after throwing the punch, his left hand touched his bag and he shouted, 3 sets of 9 sword. After he spoke, rays of silver light flew out from his bag of holding like crazy. Every ray of light gave off a harsh silver glow and countless soul fragments came out from each ray of light. Then bursts of mournful cries filled the world. As all 27 flying swords all flew out, Wang Lin pointed with this finger. All 27 flying swords flew toward Ling Tianhu while the souls released mournful cries. Even the All-Seer was shocked by this. He had already foreseen the result, but he didn't know the process. He foresaw that Wang Lin's cultivation would have increased greatly and that he would return on the day the green and purple light covered the sky, but he didn't know exactly what cultivation level Wang Lin would be at. He even saw through the several powers between Wang Lin's eyebrows. 3 of them were things even he dreaded. Although I calculated that this child would come back, I couldn't calculate the reason. This child dared to return to planet Tianyun because he must have something to rely on. The vermilion birthmark is one of his backings. The beautiful woman was also shocked. Surprise filled her eyes and she immediately saw how extraordinary those 27 swords were. She was a master refiner, and she thought, the material of these 27 swords are all extraordinary, and they also contain powerful killing intent. It is obvious they have been refined in a place with monstrous killing intent for countless years. Any one of those swords would be a peerless weapon. Now that the 27 swords have formed a sword array, their power, the beautiful middle-aged woman gasped. The old man sitting on the gourd suddenly stood up. He stared at Wang Lin, and a huge wave was set off in his heart. He definitely isn't at the early stage of Nirvana Skriya. As for the old man that was like a mountain of flesh, his mind trembled. He stared at the 27 swords and the indifferent Wang Lin. Cold sweat came out from his forehead. I underestimated him. Ling Tianhu was named Sword Saint, and he had great accomplishments and insight related to swords. When he saw these 27 swords, his eyes shined. Such flying swords, such a sword formation. Wang Lin, you are qualified to have a fight with me. Ling Tianhu waved his hands and the 3 remaining origin swords behind him flew out. As the 4 swords rotated, rays of sword energy shot out, forming a net of sword energy. The 27 flying swords caught up to the impact of his punch under Wang Lin's control. They fused together and formed a storm with the swords at the core. There was also sword intent contained within, and they collided with the 4 rotating origin swords that belonged to Ling Tianhu. Rumble, rumble, rumble. As the rumbles continued, the 27 swords were all pushed one by one. However, the bombardment caused Ling Tianhu's origin swords to retreat. Every time a flying sword was knocked back, it would return back to Wang Lin. A moment later, all 27 swords circled Wang Lin. At this moment, the power of Wang Lin's ancient god punch exploded. Under the power of the punch, Ling Tianhu's 4 origin swords were all knocked back. This scene was shocking to anyone who saw it. However, Wang Lin knew that Ling Tianhu's hadn't used any spells and had purely attacked with sword energy. This wasn't Ling Tianhu showing mercy, but even if Wang Lin was at the early stage of Nirvana Cleanser, he wouldn't enough of a threat for Ling Tianhu to use spells. Ling Tianhu's eyes revealed a strange light, but it soon disappeared. He laughed and had already forgotten about the promise of only 3 attacks. His hands formed a seal and he waved them, then his hair moved without wind, his eyes lit up, and he shouted, "You are qualified for this old man to use spells. This old man only knows 3 spells. Sacrifice, hole, break. Sacrifice sword, first phase, cast the sword with blood." After he spoke, the surrounding cultivators were all shocked. Ling Tianhu's name was illustrious, and he was a master with spells that could shake the heavens. Every cultivator knew that Ling Tianhu only had one mortal enemy, and that was the All-Seer. He seldom used his spells, and almost every single time he had used them, he was in a battle with the All-Seer. However, Ling Tianhu had unexpectedly used a spell in his battle against Wang Lin. As a result, even if Wang Lin lost, he would immediately become famous. As Ling Tianhu shouted, he pointed forward and the 4 origin swords fused into one. They became an ethereal sword that gave off bursts of hot energy. Then it turned, looking as if it was becoming liquid, and became colorful under the shining sun. Then it shot straight at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression was calm. He retreated a few steps, slapped his bag of holding, and shouted, 5 set of 9 swords formation. In an instant, rays of silver light flew out from his bag and flew together with the 27 swords. A total of 45 swords rotated like crazy, forming a vortex. Wang Lin's hair flowed in the air as his hand closed and he mercilessly pointed forward. Heavenly chop. With this point of his finger, the rate at which his origin energy cycled almost reached his peak. Countless heavenly chops flew out and merged with the vortex before him. The entire vortex trembled and then it condensed and shot forward. Wang Lin had already refined 45 of these swords from the Slaughter Realm and changed their appearances. The only ones who could identify them now were people from the Slaughter Realm. At this moment, this sword vortex that contained the power of countless heavenly chops collided with Ling Tianhu's spell. At this moment, the world changed colors and reversed. An intense rumble echoed across the world. The sounds of constant collapsing had replaced all sounds in the world. If it wasn't for the All-Seer blocking the shockwave of this impact, then it was likely a large part of planet Tian Yun would have collapsed. After the impact, Wang Lin's body was pushed back. His 45 swords were not damaged, but they were bleak as they circled Wang Lin. Facing him, the sword formed by Ling Tianhu collapsed and turned back into 4 origin swords. Ling Tianhu wasn't pushed back, though his eyes lit up and he laughed. Wang Lin, the grudge between you and the Da Lu sword sect is all gone. This old man won't take the token away from you. Since you were the one who obtained it, then you have a position to enter the celestial cave. Ling Tianhu turned around and stepped out. The Da Lu sword sect disciples were all still confused, but they immediately followed. Rays of sword energy quickly went off into the distance. Ling Tianhu's actions were very profound. Wang Lin looked at Ling Tianhu's figure and pondered. The surroundings were completely silent. Whether it was the Heavenly Fate sect disciples or the disciples brought by the old monsters, shock filled their eyes. Who would have thought Wang Lin would have the power to battle Ling Tianhu? Excitement filled Bai Wei's eyes. Even now he still didn't believe what he had witnessed. Zhao Xingxia's face was deathly pale and his gaze toward Wang Lin was filled with fear. He no longer dared to have any evil intent. There was still the fourth sister, who had been downcast the entire time. The confusion in her eyes disappeared and she looked at Wang Lin with a mysterious gaze. If he can help me, the woman bit her lower lip and made a decision. Not only them, almost everyone who knew Wang Lin was shocked into a trance. In their eyes, Wang Lin's figure from back then gradually fused with the white-robed figure they were looking at now. Wang Lin didn't put away the 45 flying swords, his gaze swept by before landing on the old man with the mountain of flesh body, and he calmly said, "Senior, am I qualified?" The old man silently pondered before letting out a cold snort and saying to the All-Seer, "Fellow cultivator All-Seer, I still have a batch of pills to refine, so I won't disturb you anymore." With that, he shouted at the 4 disciples carrying him, "Return to the sec." The 4 disciples quickly nodded, then they lifted his huge body and disappeared into the distance. The old man standing on the gourd looked profoundly at Wang Lin and laughed. Fellow cultivator Wang hid himself quiet well. This old man is called Strange Dream Tan. If you have time, you're welcome to my planet Dream. With that, he clasped his hands at Wang Lin and left. The person that left with him was the skinny old man. From the beginning, he had an indifferent expression. Even when he left, he didn't say farewell to the All-Seer, he just left. The last one to leave was the beautiful middle-aged woman. She looked at Wang Lin and smiled. Fellow cultivator Wang's flying swords are filled with killing intent. However, too much killing intent can be hard to control. If you have time, please come to planet Xixia. With that, she bowed toward the All-Seer and left with the 4 women behind her. When they were leaving, the eyes of the woman in the pink dress shined. She looked at Wang Lin and smiled. My teacher is good at refining, but the cost will not be expensive. You little girl. The beautiful woman chuckled and the 3 other women also laughed. Only a few people noticed that the gaze the woman in the green dress had toward Wang Lin was very different. He perhaps has already forgotten about my name. After all, for him, it was a very small matter, but for me, he saved my life, the woman sighed. The woman in the pink dress asked, Senior Sister Chen Qin, what's wrong? Chen Qin shook her head but didn't speak. Under the All-Seer's order, the members of the Heavenly Fate sect all scattered. In the square, there was no one else other than Wang Lin and the All-Seer. After everyone left, Wang Lin looked calmly at the All-Seer. The master and disciple once again faced each other after hundreds of years. The 2 of them pondered for a long time and the All-Seer slowly asked, What do you plan to do? Disciple wants to enter the demon spirit land. Wang Lin's expression was respectful. The All-Seer had his hand behind his back as he calmly said, You have the qualifications. Whether it is as the All-Heavens Thunder Celestial or as one of the 4 divine sects Vermilion Bird series. As far as I know, this generation of Vermilion Bird series only has 3 people including you. Wang Lin silently pondered. He didn't know much about the Vermilion Bird series. After hearing this now, although he was moved, his expression revealed nothing. 1. This was when Wang Lin went out to train before going to the demon spirit land. He encountered this group that found these fruits. Her sect was the one that found it but was too weak, so she called the Da Lu Sword sect to help. They ended up taking it for themselves and used her sect members as bait. Wang Lin killed everyone except her and even gave her some of the fruit. It will make some preparations to open up the demon spirit land this time. This matter is important, and I also need to invite some friends before we can enter that cave. During this time, you can wait here at ease. The All-Seer's expression was calm, not revealing any anger or joy as he spoke. After he finished speaking, clouds appeared and he left by stepping on the clouds. The purple wood pavilion was still kept for you. The All-Seer's voice came from the distance. Wang Lin looked at where the All-Seer disappeared and pondered. Ling Tianho's actions had profound meaning behind them. Even on the final spell he used, he didn't use his full power. Wang Lin wasn't able to guess all of Ling Tianho's thoughts, but he was able to get a rough idea. As for All-Seer, I can't see through him. When it came to the All-Seer, Wang Lin had always been confused about the All-Seer's inner thoughts. Even if he found a trace of a clue, in the blink of an eye, there would be another interpretation that make it all a mystery again. I can't see through him. Wang Lin let out a sigh. There was also a layer of mist shrouding the All-Seer. He had a feeling that every time he saw the All-Seer, he was a bit different. In truth, Wang Lin had speculated that the All-Seer would prepare for his arrival like this. However, when it came to facing it, even though the All-Seer had done as Wang Lin expected, he felt like there was something wrong. Everything was a two-bit smooth, as if everything happened according to Wang Lin's plan. Wang Lin looked around the familiar Heavenly Fate sect while frowning. After pondering for a bit, he walked down toward the Purplewood Pavilion. There was only one road leading there. The path had stone towers on both sides and was filled with lush greenery. At this moment, it was sunset. As the wind blew, it brought about a coolness along with the rustling of leaves. Even the sound of water came from the distance. Wang Lin had walked down this road before. Now that he stepped onto this road again hundreds of years later, he felt regretful. It's as if nothing has changed. Wang Lin walked forward at a leisurely pace. As he walked, a woman and man blue wearing blue robes walked close to him while talking. Their cultivation levels weren't high, only soul transformation. Along with the wind, the words spoken by the two of them slowly blew by. Junior sister, I heard that in 7 days, the Ghost Eye market will open up again. I heard that several cultivators have rushed over. Ghost Eye market? The one that auctioned a celestial spell and instantly became famous? The woman's voice was filled with surprise. That's right, it is that Ghost Eye market. That celestial spell caused a huge uproar. Rumor has it that some powerful old monsters even took a trip there. Celestial spell. With our status, we can only get incomplete celestial spells, and they are still low-grade celestial spells. Rumor has it that that celestial spell was a rare complete spell. This time, the rumors say that the Ghost Eye market will have a mysterious item for auction. What does any of this have to do with us? The prices of everything in the Ghost Eye market are unimaginable. Furthermore, one requires an invitation to enter. It doesn't matter. Although we don't have the right to enter the auction house, we have access to the tree trade area in the Ghost Eye market. As the man in blue spoke, he took out a jade from his bag. This jade was completely black, aside from the center, which had an eye. This eye gave off burst of red light and was very strange. Ghost Eye invitation jade. The woman's eyes lit up. The man in blue was proud and he was about to speak when he looked ahead. What he saw caused him to become startled. He saw Wang Lin walking down from the mountain. When the woman noticed the abnormality of her senior brother, she raised her head and also noticed Wang Lin. With their cultivation level, they weren't even remotely aware of Wang Lin's existence. Wang Lin's expression was gentle. When he got near the man and woman, he smiled at the man in blue and said, "Senior brother Li, don't be a stranger." You. The man in blue was like a foolish chicken. He had just returned to the sect, so he didn't know Wang Lin had returned. When he saw Wang Lin earlier, he thought Wang Lin looked familiar, so he was startled. However, After hearing Wang Lin's words, he was even more shocked. Wang Lin. The man in blue retreated a few steps and a ghast filled his eyes. Wang Lin smiled. He didn't know this person's full name and only knew he was named Li. They had briefly met once, and he remembered that this man looked at him with mockery and disdain. Looking at this person today, this person's cultivation level had increased from early-stage soul transformation to mid-stage soul transformation. No longer looking at the man named Li, Wang Lin walked past them and gradually left. Senior brother, he is called Wang Lin? This name seems familiar. The woman looked at Wang Lin's back with a puzzled look. Wang Lin has actually returned. If I ran into him here, Master has to know about it. Could it be that he has obtained Master's forgiveness? Just now, I didn't feel any spiritual energy from him at all, as if he was a mortal. However, the moment he passed, I was so shocked that all the spiritual energy in my body trembled until it almost collapsed. The man in blue's expression was pale. He pulled his junior sister and quickly left. Senior brother, what's with you? The woman was puzzled. The man in blue quickly said, his name is Wang Lin. He was the Heavenly Fate sect's Purple Division's 7th disciple. Junior sister, do you still not remember? The woman was startled and her expression immediately changed. Is it that one that was rumored to have killed countless people in the demon spirit land and created a river of blood? Who in the end was eventually hunted by Master and 7 seniors but was still able to escape? The devil Wang Lin? In the distance, Wang Lin wryly smiled. Gossip was a fearful thing. The rumors about him had gradually changed over the hundreds of years. Letting out a sigh, Wang Lin walked out of the Heavenly Fate sect through the small path. In front of him was a mountain that pierced into the sky. The peak was covered in mist and there were purple lights inside this mist. This was where the Purple Division disciples stayed. Heavenly Fate sect, Mount Purple. Looking at the familiar peak, Wang Lin entered a trance. It was as if he had gone back into the past and saw a youth walking step by step up the mountain and step by step gained a firm footing here. While pondering, the wind of the mountain blew by, and it was cold. Although not freezing, it still took away warmth and left you with only coldness. There were various plants swaying on the mountain. It was unknown if it was the mountain moving or his heart. Wang Lin walked up the mountain as if he was walking into heaven. Wang Lin slowed down as he walked up the mountain. Along the way, he met no cultivators. The only sound he heard was the wind that sounded like sobbing. Aside from the sound of wind, there was no other sound. The mountain was still the same as before, with a delicate pavilion in the corner. From a distance, you could vaguely see a vertical plaque with one word on it. Purple. As Wang Lin moved forward, that corner of the pavilion concealed itself once more. Only after walking past an obstacle did the pavilion from before appear. Purple Wood Pavilion. Who still remembers that this place was called the Purple Cloud Pavilion? Wang Lin stood silently for a while before he pushed open the door. The smell of mold blew out from the pavilion. The furnishing in the room was the same as before, there was nothing different. If there was any change, it was that there was dust everywhere. Whether it was the table, wooden chair, or the bed, it was all covered in dust. The oil lamp on the table had long since ran out of oil. Wang Lin raised his finger and gently rubbed the table. He quickly created a deep mark on the table. Looking at the dust on the table, Wang Lin waved his hand. A gentle wind swept by. This wind swept before Wang Lin and blew past the dust on the table. Then it went past the wood chairs, the bed, upstairs, and downstairs. It was as if a storm had gone through the pavilion. However, what was strange was that the storm only swept the dust and nothing else was moved. Not even the purple window emitted a single sound that signaled it was blown by the wind. After several breaths of time, Wang Lin raised his palm and closed his hand. At this instant, the storm seemed to reverse in time and gathered in Wang Lin's hand from all directions. In an instant, the storm in the pavilion disappeared. A dark grey vortex appeared in Wang Lin's palm. This was all the dust in the pavilion. He casually waved his right and all the windows in the pavilion opened. The grey vortex drifted out from the window. It was as if hundreds of years of time and all the memories of the past were deposited away. Everything in the room now looked new. The sky darkened as the sun set. The room was completely dark, which made Wang Lin's figure look a bit blurry. He let out a sigh and walked to a purple wood cabinet. He remembered that the oil was placed here. He opened the cabinet and sure enough found a small bottle containing brown lamp oil. After adding oil to the oil lamp, Wang Lin turned on the lamp. There was a sound when the flame was lit, and the darkness in the room was dispelled. However, the moment the flame lit up, a gust of wind came from the mountain. This caused the flame that had just lit up to flicker and sway, and Wang Lin's shadow became distorted. Hey! Wang Lin's expression changed as he stared at the flickering flame. A thought flashed through his mind and his eyes shined brightly. The wind blew and the flame changed. Its change is unpredictable in the wind, making it impossible to tell what its original shape was. I understand. The All-Seer is like this lamp. The reason I feel like he is a different person each time is because he is always changing. Just like how a person has thousands of avatars and all of them are in the same body. They are alternating at every moment. This is why the All-Seer gives me such an unpredictable feeling. Wang Lin looked at the flickering lighting and his expression was light and dark. However, enlightenment filled his eyes. This video will end here.